students, today we will discuss about the norma verticalis. Observation of the skull from superior aspect is called norma verticalis. If we talk about the shape of the norma verticalis, it appears ovoid in shape. It is relatively wider posteriorly. As you can see, it is wider posteriorly than anteriorly. If we talk about the bones which contribute in the formation of this norma verticalis, these bones are the frontal bone which lies anteriorly. This is the frontal bone which lies anteriorly. Then occipital bone. This is the occipital bone, the upper part of the occipital bone which lies posteriorly, and paired parietal bones which lies on the each side of the midline. If we talk about the junctions of the bone, or we call as sutures of the bone, sutures, they are the immovable joints of the skull which are fibrous in nature. In norma verticalis, we can see three sutures mainly. Let us see that sutures. First suture, you'll see in another skull. This is the anterior part, this is the posterior part. Posterior part is wider than the anterior part. First suture is called as the coronal suture. I'll mark this coronal suture with the orange color chalk. This is coronal suture. This coronal suture, it lies between frontal and parietal bones. Between frontal and parietal bones lies the coronal suture. Another suture is the sagittal suture. I am marking this suture with the blue color chalk. This is sagittal suture. It lies between two parietal bones. Next suture is the lambdoid suture which lies posteriorly. I'll mark this suture with yellow color chalk so that you can easily see that. See, this is lambdoid suture, and this suture is lying between the occipital bone and parietal bones. In between occipital and parietal bones lies the lambdoid suture. Occasionally, another suture is also present, which is called as the metopic suture, which we can see in this skull. See, this is the frontal bone, this is the parietal bones. This is sagittal suture, this is coronal suture. Okay, but this suture is called as the metopic suture. It is present in about 3 to 8% of individual, and it lies in the median plane. As you can see, it lies in the median plane and separate the two half of the frontal bone. Okay, and normally it fuses at 6 years of age. Some features we can see in norma verticalis. Let us see that features. First is the vertex. Vertex, it is the highest point on the sagittal suture. Sagittal suture, highest point on the sagittal suture is called as the vertex. The arched roof of this wall is called of the skull, it is called as the vault. Arched roof of the skull, it is called as the vault. Another important feature which we can see in norma verticalis is bregma. I am marking this bregma region with white color chalk. I am encircling the bregma region. This is bregma. It is situated at the intersection between the coronal and the sagittal suture. This point is called as the bregma. Bregma is the site of a membranous gap in the fetal skull, and this gap is known as anterior fontanelle. What is fontanelle? Why this is named fontanelle? Actually, if any prick happens here at this area, the blood appears like fountain. That is why this is called as fontanelle. And this fontanelle, it closes by 18 months and it allows the growth of the brain. Now, another feature is the lambda. Lambda, again I am marking this with a white color chalk. I am encircling the lambda. This is lambda. Lambda, it is situated at the intersection of this sagittal and the lambdoid suture. This point is called as the lambda. In the fetal skull, there is a membranous gap at the site of lambda, and this gap is known as the posterior fontanelle. Here lies the anterior fontanelle anteriorly, here lies the posterior fontanelle. Posterior fontanelle, it closes by 2 to 3 months. Now, let us see some other features in another skull where they are showing properly. This is the anterior, this is posterior. Now, as you can see, this is the sagittal suture and this is the lambdoid suture. Okay. Now, another feature we can see here is the parietal foraminas. These are the parietal foraminas. Okay. These parietal foraminas, it pierces the parietal bone on each side of midline and about 3.5 centimeter in front of the lambda. And through this foraminas, emissary vein passes. Okay. Emissary vein passes through these foraminas. Now, another feature is the obelion. This region is the obelion. It is the region on this sagittal suture between the two parietal foraminas. Obelion, it is said to represent the site of the commencement of the sagittal suture closure. Okay. Now, another feature is the parietal eminence. Parietal eminence is the area of maximum convexity of the parietal bone. Area of maximum convexity of parietal bone is called as the parietal eminence. And this parietal eminence, this is the common site of the fracture of the skull. Now, let us see another feature. Another feature is the temporal lines. There are two temporal lines on each side of this norma verticalis. These temporal lines, as you can see, they are very fade in this skull. These temporal lines, there are two temporal lines. One is the superior temporal line, obviously which lies superiorly, and the inferior temporal line which lies inferiorly. Both the temporal lines, they start as a single line from the zygomatic process of the frontal bone. From here, they start singly. Okay. The two lines, they arch backwards and upward and they cross the frontal bone. Then the coronal suture. This is coronal suture. They cross the coronal suture. Okay. And parietal bone. Okay. See, here on the parietal bone, superior temporal line, it fades out in the posterior part. In this posterior part of the temporal bone, superior temporal line, it fades out. But inferior temporal line, it persists. Okay. Superior temporal line, it fades out. But inferior temporal line, it persists. Epicranial aponeurosis and temporal fascia, they are attached to the superior temporal line. Epicranial aponeurosis and temporal fascia. And inferior temporal line marks the upper limit of the origin of the temporalis muscle. Okay. Now we'll talk about the applied part of the norma verticalis. These fontanelles, I have told you about the anterior and the posterior fontanelles. These fontanelles, they serve the two important purposes. One, they allow molding during birth. Second, they allow the brain to grow. The presence of anterior fontanelle is both clinically and therapeutically very significant. A bulge here indicates the increased intracranial tension, as in case of brain tumor, and or an abnormal depression here indicates excessive loss of fluid, like in case of bleeding and dehydration. Diagnostic and therapeutic punctures, they could be carried out through anterior fontanelle. And also the ultrasonography of brain in infants is performed through anterior fontanelle. Okay, the osseous closure of anterior fontanelle, it is an important milestone in a development of a child. With this, we have come to the end of norma verticalis. Thank you.